Good evening, Let's Thermomix. I hope you are well. Once again, it is an impromptu live from me. Just jumping on because I am going to make some vegetable stock paste, and I know I have gone live and done vegetable stock paste before, but there are always new people coming into the group, and Facebook doesn't keep any videos or lives for any longer than 30 days anymore. If you are watching this, say hello to me so that I can say hello back. Hopefully it will tell me that you are there. And if you watch it at a later time, hashtag whatever it is that you say, replay, then that would be amazing. Good evening, Nicola. I hope you are well. The sun is shining, the sky is blue. It has been absolutely beautiful, and I hope that that has been countrywide. Good evening, Bev. I hope you are well as well. Hello. So I will be making vegetable stock paste, and the reason I'm going to be doing it is not only because I think everyone who has a Thermomix should make it, but because I am literally using the dregs of my vegetable drawer, wherever you keep them. So I have literally emptied it around my computer, which I haven't yet put away, and I just want to show you that you can literally make it with whatever you have got. So do not think that you need to follow a recipe for the vegetable stock paste exactly as it says. As long as you are very aligned with the weights of vegetables, then the outcome is going to be fab. The second reason I'm coming on is because I just wanted to do a little bit of a summary / recap of the 3 dishes that I made on my Sunday demo. And this is something I need to get into a habit of doing, because I think I obviously do the demo, lots of you come on that demo, but I don't try the food on that evening. I then post about what I make maybe the day after or a couple of days after. But again, I'm not convinced or sure that everyone sees the outcome. And I just want you to know what I think, if I'd make any changes to those recipes and those sorts of things. So if I go to my recently cooked, so I can bring up those recipes, I can pretty much remember most of them. The other thing that might happen whilst I'm live is I have got bread rolls in the oven and they may finish cooking. So on Sunday, what I actually made were avocado cupcakes with a lime drizzle. Now, if you were on the demo with me, you would have seen that my reaction to the fact that they were really quite green, like a slime green is the way in which I would describe the batter. The actual consistency of those cakes when they came out of the oven was absolutely sublime. The texture was soft. It was absolutely beautiful. Now, because I made them as 3 mini cakes rather than 12 cupcakes, the lime drizzle, I don't feel got through into the flavor of the cake sufficiently. But when you did get a hit of that lime drizzle with the cake, they were amazing. So I would absolutely recommend that the faff that is involved with that recipe, using the butterfly whisk, quite a few stages, is 100% worth it. So Nicola, you were right. It was just delicious. Not particularly full of flavor, but that's why that lime drizzle and how much you get into each cupcake is really important. And I think maybe what I would also do into that drizzle is I would use the zest of the lime, because it doesn't include that in the recipe. So the cupcakes were a massive winner. Despite their green appearance. One child has eaten them, the other one hasn't, and I'll leave you to work out which way round that was. I made the orzo salad with artichoke and feta, and my honest opinion of that is that you need less orzo or you need more ingredients. So one of those two needs to shift in terms of quantities, because it's quite dry with the amount of orzo that is used within it. Now, I didn't have the correct amount of artichokes. I had half, and I added tuna, which is obviously a little bit dry. So we added more lemon juice and olive oil to it, and it was really, really nice. But next time I would just reduce the amount of orzo, because what I want from my salad is more veggie style ingredients than I do sort of that carbohydrate. I did give it to Harry for his lunch. He didn't really like it. He preferred the sun-dried tomato and tuna allergen sort of recipe mixed with pasta. So I have got an enormous vat of orzo salad that I'm making my way through, but fortunately it is in a vacuum sealed container, so I know it's going to last a little bit longer, because every time I serve it I then take the air out, and I know it's going to keep for a bit longer. The final recipe I made were the teriyaki salmon burgers. Oh my goodness, they are delicious. The teriyaki sauce is absolutely incredible. You don't need as much as is made, so I have got teriyaki sauce left over, which is why the bread rolls are actually in the oven, because the other thing I made at the weekend, not on a demo, was I roasted or slow cooked, I'm not really sure which I did, maybe both, a leg of lamb. And I am gonna have lamb teriyaki sauce in soft white rolls for my dinner. I might put a bit of lettuce in there and I might add a bit of cucumber, but the teriyaki sauce is stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'd highly recommend that you make that and that it can be used with lots of different things. The burgers, the salmon burgers, were also amazing. As I suspected, the bread is ready. Bear with me as I take it out of the oven. Oh, and I will show you these amazing. These are actually my favorite bread rolls at the moment. They are the soft, are they Chinese bread rolls? So there you go. How good do they look? They smell absolutely amazing. And 12 almost perfectly sized bread rolls from me. So they are there. Yes, so the salmon burgers, very, very wet mixture. They are pan fried. Harry and I had them for dinner on Monday night and he took them for his lunch, the remainders, today. So it actually made 9 decent sized salmon burgers. We just had it, I had it with the orzo salad and he had it with sliced cucumber, some tomatoes and some avocado, and with the teriyaki sauce. They were absolutely amazing. Yeah, the rolls, honestly, these are my favorite bread roll recipe. I will tell you the exact name once I've sort of finished explaining. The salmon burgers, again, definitely worth making. So they are called teriyaki salmon burgers. I would also definitely recommend the avocado cupcake with lime drizzle, with added zest into the drizzle, and definitely worth making as small cupcakes. The orzo salad with artichoke and feta, really nice, but too much orzo for me. So I would recommend that you reduce the amount of orzo, or you increase the ingredients that you add into it. The other thing Harry didn't like about it was the inclusion of chickpeas, so I've determined that he doesn't like that. So those bread rolls that I just showed you, the recipe is called Soft Chinese Bread Rolls. I don't know how I found them. They've got a tiny bit of sugar in them, which I reduced the quantity of, obviously. I love it because you cook them from a cold oven. They have 2 very short proving times. A lot of slamming of the dough onto the surface, so it relieves any tension that you might have, and they are really nice and soft and fluffy. So I will take a picture of them when I cut one and stuff it full of roasted lamb and also teriyaki sauce. So that was a recap of recipes, and like I said, what I'm going to do now is I am actually just going to make some vegetable stock paste. I did consider making the reduced salt one because I don't have enough salt, but I'm just going to go with what I've got, and therefore what that means is I will need to put this in the freezer rather than have it directly in the fridge, because it will need to be frozen. The other thing I've been doing today, and I don't know if you've noticed, is there have been 7 new collections released. These collections, June needs to hurry as I've sold my KitchenAid now, so no more bread until my TM7 arrives. Okay, I'll send you some. The 7 collections that have been released are all related to, I'm going to call them a pillar of what the TM7 is going to be about. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but if you scroll down on that front page of Cookadoo, you will find that there are 7 new collections. They've got some brand new recipes in there. Some of them are just for the TM7, others are for every Thermomix model. And I have spotted a couple of things that I want to make. There's one recipe which is a spinach-based recipe, I think with chickpeas, and it's got the open cooking scenario in it. I've got here date and nut balls, and also there is a power muesli that I have spotted as well. So have a look in them, see what you think. Some recipes you will recognize. This month it's all about in homemade we trust. So that whole notion of what we do with the Thermomix, just cooking from scratch, no additives, no preservatives. And again, stock paste falls into that very nicely, but also bread. You know, those bread rolls, they're as soft as anything you might buy in the supermarket, but they are not loaded with any crap. So in homemade we trust is what you're going to be seeing a lot of, I guess, on social media from any Thermomix advisor. But I think safe to say we are doing that day in, day out with a Thermomix. There is nothing in our world that has anything bad in it. So those bread rolls, going back a little bit, they brew for half an hour as a big mass of dough. You then split them into their 90-ish gram size, and then they just brew for about 15 minutes and go into a cold oven, and I absolutely love them. So vegetable stock paste, the British recipe is the one that I pick because it has weights next to the ingredients it wants you to add in. If you choose the Australian one, it will just say 2 carrots, 3 zucchinis, and quite frankly, that doesn't help me because a zucchini and a carrot can be so very different in weight. So I always follow the English recipe for this particular recipe. It's got exactly the same ingredients in, they just guide us a little bit more. And you've got a choice at the very beginning. So if you do not like Parmesan, if you are a vegan, you do not need to add the Parmesan cheese in. It grates it down, it just gives it a different flavor. And I am not adding that Parmesan in. So perfectly easy to just scroll on by. So it says 200 grams of celery stalks. I don't have any, but I've got some of the tails, the tops, whatever you want to call it, of some spring onion. So I'm just going to cut those in half, drop that in as my first ingredient, and there's definitely not enough. So I've also got some fairly old broccoli stalk, which I am also just going to throw in as well. A little bit of the head of the broccoli as well. And that's taken us to 203 grams. So no celery, just a mixture of what I've got. 250 grams of carrot, I most definitely don't have. I have scrubbed this. I might just scrub it a little bit more, bear with me. I don't peel. I use this magic, this is a Norwex one, which is no longer available, but Enyo do a vegetable scrubber, and it just takes off the chemicals that we have obviously got sprayed onto our veggies when they are not homegrown. My dad also referenced that I do need to get myself down to my allotment fairly soon, and I do, it's true. I need to set some time out so that I can do that. So 250 grams of carrot, I'm going to be way short on this. So I've just cut it into random sizes. How much paste do you use if the recipe asks for 1 stock cube, please? A good old tablespoon. I'm really quite generous with the stock paste because it is so full of flavor. And then I may not add the full amount of salt. So you sort of will need to have a play with it. But it's like I'm really generous with my stock paste. It will tell you in most recipes what they would recommend because it knows that some people don't make the stock paste. So I've only got 97 grams and I've got a little bit of broccoli left over. So I'm going to add that in. And then I've got some green beans, which I got on special. So I'm going to add those in. So I'm on 130 grams. I am just going to take the tail and top of these off. Probably don't need to take the tail off as much as I need to take the top. And I'll just cut those in half. It's going to be a very bland colour, this particular one. And I've got some cauliflower, and I've also got some cauliflower leaves, which I will be adding if I need to. But the cauliflower is kind of soft, not very good for anything else, I would say. I have let that sort of go too far. So that has been added in, 250 grams. Pressing next, 100 grams of onion. So I've got this little bit of onion, which isn't going to be 100 grams. So we'll add what I've got, 52. Pressing next, tomatoes. I don't have any, so it says 100 grams. So I'm going to add some of my cauliflower leaves because I don't want to waste them. So they're also very limp and looking a little bit pathetic. And I'm going to add a little bit of aubergine because this is also going a little bit over. So all I'm demonstrating and showing you is that you have got masses and masses of flexibility with regards to what you do when you're making things like that. All right, 150 grams of courgette. This one's a little bit soft. I've got more in the fridge that I could go and get if I need to. And again, I'm just cutting the end off and then just putting it into chunks. It is going to chop this and make it much smaller in terms of what is in there. So actually, I'm probably only going to need, so gone slightly over, so that was one fairly soft courgette. Garlic, I do have garlic, so bear with me. I will add the garlic in because the flavour is obviously going to be really good. Now I do know some people put the skin in, so I'm just going to cut that very end sort of hard bit off, and it takes not all of that sort of papery skin off, and that just gets dropped in as well. I don't have any mushrooms. Well, I do, I have 2, but I want them for breakfast, so I'm just going to omit those. Press next, never put the dried bay leaf in, and then it wants 6 sprigs of mixed dried herbs. I've got coriander, parsley, and thyme. So I'm just going to go for thyme. I'm just going to get a big old chunk, yeah? Probably a little bit more. My coriander is in good health, so I'm going to keep it. And I know that I'm adding a little bit more parsley. So again, I'm just going to get a nice sort of big chunk and put that in. All right, so it's pretty full, right? But it's full of really nice vegetables, no additives, no preservatives. And for 20 seconds at speed 7, just going to chop it. Okay, so if you're going to put it in a glass of water. I can't see the rest of that message, Bev. Does it like rejuvenate it if it's just gone soft? Are you telling me that I can water my cauliflower and it will live longer? That's amazing. I've just used it though. I've got half left. All right, I might try that. That might not work anymore. Okay, so pretty much that has only chopped what was in the bottom. Okay, so it is really, really full. So I'm just going to lift the ingredients around and show you. And again, because I have put different ingredients in, this is why it's going to need to be chopped again, all right? And I suspect that a piece of vegetable has got stuck around the blade. But you can see as I've lifted it that it has chopped some of it, but I am going to have to press that back arrow and I'm going to redo the chopping. And hopefully it'll be able to do it this time. Okay, so it's not chopping anymore because the sound has changed. So let's have a look and see what it's done. And if I need to lift and redo the vegetables, I will. Okay, so you can see it's absolutely just minced those veggies down. Just going to check. They don't need doing any more. But again, you do not want to be throwing anything out, and next time I'll be watering or giving my cauliflower a drink. So that just needed a little extra chopping, so don't be alarmed if you open it and the same thing happens to you, that those veggies at the top haven't been chopped. Just press that back arrow and you're going to be absolutely fine. Now it's asking for 120 grams of coarse salt, and I don't have it. I normally have oodles and oodles of salt in the cupboard, but I didn't order any more, so I've gone half. That's literally what I've got. All right, so like I said, these will go into the freezer. Now it says dry white wine or water, 30 grams. Got a little bit of white wine, so why not? Why not add it in? I think it's always really funny because it's Fortnum & Mason white wine that I get at Christmas, and because I don't drink it, it gets used in cooking. Tablespoon of olive oil. This is just a massive glug of olive oil in my book. So just dropping it in. No measurement there. And then the simmering basket is required, as this will then just cook for 25 minutes. Remember that little tip, the pointy bit, it's not going to be relevant on the TM7, but you pull that pointy bit towards you, your thumb on that outside rim, and it just draws the lid towards you really easily. Simmering basket is here, 25 minutes at 120 degrees, and it's just going to move those ingredients around at speed 2. My preview tells me that the mixture will become fairly thick and fairly dry. Because of the ingredients I've used, it might be a little bit wet, so I may cook it for a little bit longer, but it's not going to be a problem if it is wetter because I'm freezing it. It's still got the flavours that I need as a stock. And then if you were going to, this is the point after the cooking time that you add the Parmesan cheese in. It then tells you to put the lid in with the measuring cup and you're blending for a minute. So you're making it into that stock paste. And then it goes into your jars, or it goes into, I'm going to do it in ice cube trays, freeze them in individual portions, and then just have them in a bag that I can pull them out of. Remember, you can, in your Varoma, sterilize any jars that you put anything in. So if you wanted to put your stock paste in a number of smaller jars, then you can do that, so that when you then open, they will be as fresh as the day you make it. So vegetable stock paste is a must. Everyone should make it. Good evening, Gemma Davis. I haven't seen you in ages. Are you going to be able to come to the Woodall event? Just asking for a friend, me. So yeah, so that was my little recap of the recipes I made at the weekend. The bread rolls I cannot wait to tuck into. And yeah, any questions, you know where I am. Thank you for those of you who joined. And please hashtag replay if you watch this at a later time. I will be dropping in, I don't know, quite a lot. I'm enjoying it at the moment, and when the sun is shining, it's lovely to just get natural light as well. So I will see you all soon. Take care and bye for now.